Hello Internet, Hewlett here with another Burn and Learn, and Sunday. I know, how weird is that? Like, normally Sunday is my day off. Well, I've decided to try to do every other day to maintain this, because I feel like I definitely let it get away from me this week I've been looking after Bratlet by myself because Jane's in the UK. I was supposed to be in Budapest, and I will mention that in a moment. So I've just had a lot to do with him, and I've really found it hard to sort of juggle all of that this week. And maybe that's an excuse, but I've started to try to do it every other day again now because I feel it's sort of easier to maintain. And I want to make sure that I don't overdo it because I want to keep doing this. But at the same time, I want to make it easy. I don't want to make it too easy for me to just keep not doing it, if that makes sense. So furnace is thundering away because it's bitterly cold in Toronto. During the night last night, I could hear the house cracking and creaking as the temperature dropped into the horrible sub-horrible temperatures. I should tell you, this is a Burn and Learn, and this is my bit to stay alive and fit long enough to raise and enjoy the pleasure of the company of my amazing son, and also my beautiful wife and brilliant wife, Jane. I hate exercise. It's boring! So I like to learn something while I'm doing it, and I like to share what I've learned with you in the sweatiest way possible, something I have very much achieved today. But let me share that learning with you. So the learning today is a book called Surveillance Capitalism. Wow! I mean, this is a Leo Laporte recommends from Twit TV. I was listening to him, one of his podcasts, and he mentioned this, and I was like, oh, I gotta read that. And it is, oh my gosh, I mean, it has sucked me in. It is just so engaging. It's not, it's a harder read than I'm used to. I have to go back. I find everything is so rich. There's so many tasty morsels in each sentence that I have to go over it a few times. And she's now talking about the history of like where this came from. Where did this whole sort of idea of surveillance capitalism come from? About Ford with his Model T, and you can have any color you want as long as it's black. So sort of neat little historical aspect of it there. And at the same time, so I'm reading this book on my Kindle, digitally reading it on my Kindle. At the same time, I've got my phone blasting out my YouTube, YT music tunes, and frantically thumbing up and thumbing down on the songs I like and the ones I don't, in the hopes of getting a great playlist. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm reading Surveillance Capitalism and just feeding the machine with all this information. It's like they will be able to control me so easily. And that's her point. She's saying it's not just about watching what we do. That makes it sound so benign. It's about trying to change our behavior is what's happening. So I can't wait to see how this progresses. I'm sort of nervously excited to hear what's going on. And of course, it speaks to so many of the issues in my life right now, just raising Bratlet. I mean, we had this horrendous fight this morning. I should not even say that. I lost my freaking temperature. I lost the temperature already. I lost my temper this morning with him in a way that I just hate doing. Screaming and foaming at the mouth because, again, I couldn't get him off this damn YouTube. Like, he was watching these inane things on YouTube. I'm thinking, what a waste of your brain, turning into mush. And we've just been struggling with pulling him off of video games and pulling him off of YouTube, and I just feel like such a jerk, but at the same time, I absolutely love the time I have playing video games with him. In fact, he's so proud of me right now because I'm now at competitive level in Overwatch, for whatever that means. He's very excited about it. Apparently it means I can now just play with people who are a lot meaner to you when you play. That's what I've found from it. But he's so excited about it. We've had so much fun, doing it together, and I'm just trying to find that balance. But I'm so worried because now I'm reading the Surveillance Capitalism thing, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, what are we feeding the machine? It's like I've thrown my child into the machine, and it's just chewing him up and spitting him out as things he wants to buy, So anyways, fast question, and sort of speaks to the week. I mentioned about Budapest. I was supposed to be in Budapest filming this week, and they had booked me for very specific dates, and I had worked around those dates to make sure that it happened, and come up with a plan for tech terrors and everything, and then they changed the dates. Not by a huge amount, but just by a couple of days that screwed up my tech terrors plan. And I just didn't feel like I could bail on them. And I feel like such an idiot because it's not like, tech terrors is not a paying gig. I mean, there's money involved because I need money to buy this stuff to work with the kids, but it's not like a job. So not a job yet, maybe it should be. Because I turned down this job in order to do the tech terrors. I mean, there's a selfish component too, in that I wanted control of my life. I didn't, I was like, I know I said yes to these days and now you've changed them. Why should I have to change everything? But I know that's the way the industry works. I've been doing this for 30 years. It always happens. Anyways, I had to say no, and this thing, so I'm no longer doing this part in Budapest. They have said that they will find something else in the show later on, but you know, whatever that means, I don't know. I hope that's the case because it would be fun, and basically any other time than now would be better. But I just didn't feel like I could walk away, and I was also concerned that even once I'd said, okay, I'll walk away, that it was going to change again. So anyways, so that was the sort of that was the kick in the teeth today, not today, this week, that I'd sort of been dealing with. And I think that has definitely affected my ability to sort of come down and cheerily do my exercise and stuff. So I wanted to share with you the bad stuff as well as the good stuff. I'm not always, you know, Mr. Cheery talking to the animals or the bluebirds on my shoulder stuff. Sometimes it gets pretty low. And that was this week for sure. So, but anyways, the good side of it is that Jane was away. That was not the good side of it. The good side was that Jane was away enjoying herself with her friend's 50th birthday party. They did a whole 1950s thing, so she got to get away, and I got to spend time with Bradley, which was fantastic. I mean, other than arguing all the time, it's just wonderful. I just love hanging out, and I just can't imagine what I did with my life before this little guy was around. So absolutely love it. If anyone's got any suggestions on how to balance that, you know, the video games and the YouTube and how you guys deal with it, I'd be very curious to hear. So I will leave it on that, shall I? Until we geek again, sweaty or not, here I come every other day. Cheerio!